Hey guys, my name is Zach. Today we're taking a look at the Young Rich Miles Morales. I got this from TNS and I received it a few weeks ago and I wanted to hold off on making my review until I could give some concrete thoughts on this figure and the pros and cons. Now, the figure does come with some Nike Jordans, same as the first release, though these are I believe they're like the non-special edition. They're the red-soled versions. They do come in a box, which is a little different than the last figures boxed shoes. And the box is nice, has some legal ease, has the size information on it. The shoes come in foam with a layer of foam on top of it. No Miles certificate with this release. But yeah, these are really nice little pieces of 6 scale art. You can see them on the figure there. They fit great. You also do get the spider effect and the venom web shock effects. These are repackaged. They look identical and feel identical to the first release, along with the spray paint can. This set includes 8 hands, 6 different eyes, the black goober, and the black web bracelets. You also do get the stand grabber for the stand itself. And one thing to note: these bracelets, they do not have any paint on them; they're just black, and which is a little bit different from what they showed in the prototype. Now the goober is cast in like a white material. Same with the hands, and it's super annoying because anytime you get a little bit of a chip just like that, you'll just see white underneath it. I think these should have been made in a black plastic. That way it would make it less noticeable for paint chips. One thing they also did change from the prototype was that this mask is not wearable on the figure at all. So definitely take note of that. It's pretty much just something to toss in the hands and pose with. The backdrop is pretty nice. It's the skyline from the beginning of the third act, and you can screw in the clamp on the base if you want to pose your figure against the skyline. This is a quick look here at the solicitation photos. You can see they changed the head sculpt to Jordans, and there's no paint on the bracelets. Otherwise, everything else looks pretty much spot on. There's different stickers on the box to put on the phone, and I mean, the phone is also included. I think I may have missed it from the accessories shot, but this set it's good, right? It's not the greatest figure I've ever owned by any means. Thanks in part to a few minor flaws. One of which is just the general shape of the body, specifically at the hips. I think this is definitely a figure that displays best with the jacket and the shorts on. But also this section here on the shoulders is very prone to some really nasty potential chipping issues down the line. It seems like this vinyl that they put on the shoulders just isn't very good. But anyways, looking at the articulation, the head does have some pretty nice range of motion forward and back, though it is very stiff at the neck. So I noticed some reviewers mentioning it didn't have any. It is there, but it is quite stiff. You do get ab crunch and a waist swivel. The arm can go up this far, and there's a good look there at the bunching that I was talking about. You do get a upper bicep swivel and a double jointed elbow, which has a pretty nice range of motion. And the figure does obviously have a swivel at the swivel hinge rather at the wrist. And this is another problem with this figure, is that these wrist shooters are way too tight. So anytime you rotate the wrist like this, you will have potential that gray webbing starts to, I wouldn't say tear, but it does kind of remove itself from the figure. Looking at the spread there at the hips, pretty good spread, thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and the feet are on a ball joint. No toe hinge, which I think is kind of a bummer. But yeah, definitely a very posable figure. Now here's a look at the wrist. The wrist shooter, anytime you want to move it, I would recommend taking it off and then moving the suit and then replacing it. This suit is designed sort of like the Hot Toys Black Panther, where part of the suit does go into the hands to make the seam flush, and it does look good, don't get me wrong, but definitely something to watch out for. You can see on this shot I did paint the red on the web shooters, and this is another look at the hands showing that they have been painted from a white base. This is how the eyes work. They don't actually magnetize to anything, they just kind of pressure fit in, and I think it's an okay system. It's definitely not the best, but it is easy to change. And, it's not really any stress on the head sculpt when you take them on and off. So that's kind of nice. I know with the Tech Suit Spider-Man, it is kind of scary to take those out. But these fit pretty good. They fit fairly flush. And, yeah, here's a quick look at the fully closed eyes, or like sort of like squinting eyes. I think they look pretty good. This is the sort of like 3/4 open slash squinty eyes. And then we have the fully open eyes. The jacket fits really well. It's the same dual layer system with the full red sweater and then the jacket over it. The color, I think you're either gonna love it or hate it, but the it does fit really nicely on this. The fact that the suit is textured helps it grab on a little bit better. I think it's really nice for posing. The belt is still awful. I mentioned this in my last review, but I don't think we can really fix anything about that. The head sculpt is fantastic. Just looking at it here in a few shots, I really think this is one of the better parts of this set. And overall, minus the shoulder issues, the hips being a little bit weird, and the hands and the goober being cast in white, I think this is a pretty good set. I think it poses fairly nicely, not like the greatest posing figure of all time, because you do have to watch out for those shoulders. But I was able to get into a few fun poses, and I'm sure Peter from Posing with Peter is going to put out a ridiculous posing video, hopefully sometime in the near future, showing off some of those cool poses. But yeah, it's definitely a good figure. I have it put up in my Miles Morales Spiderverse shelf, and now I'm just waiting on the Bullet Head Spider-Gwen and the official Hot Toys Miles Morales to complete this shelf. But looking at it compared to the Hot Toys, I think some of the things that this figure's done better is the fact that there is actually those wrist watch style web shooters. The Hot Toys doesn't seem to have it from what I could tell. The Jordans are far superior to the Hot Toys version where they just have red sneakers. These do have that branding. The hips look much, much better on the Hot Toys. I can definitely give them that. Along with the web pattern, it just looks a lot better. And also the head sculpt. I think the Hot Toys head sculpt is much more accurate to the film, along with the sculpt of the feet. I think the feet that Hot Toys have, they do have to be a bit thinner because I believe they do slip on to the shoes that they include in the set. And because of that, I think that that they just look a little bit more natural. But yeah, that's my review of this figure. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something. If you have any questions, let me know below, and I will do my best to answer them. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. I'm Zach, and I'll catch you on the next review.